the two games that I've backed since the last video. And if you can remember what we were talking about, the games that were funding last period, the two that I backed, one was Grand Austria Hotel, the new kind of deluxeified edition. Again, it's just prettier. They have better components than in past versions of the game. They've just kind of made a nicer, more tactile version of the game with everything kind of upgraded. And there were several smaller expansions for Grand Austria Hotel over the years. So this new version kind of bakes everything into it, get it all in one place. And I was really excited to back this one. Again, it's kind of it's an action selection game. There's drafting, there's dice, and then kind of how you are able to take the actions that you take depend on the dice that have been rolled and how you use those dice to kind of supplement your actions. And in Grand Austria Hotel, I feel like it has some overlap with Rococo, maybe more in the time period. But Grand Austria Hotel, I think the art on this one is by Clemens Franz, who's another amazing artist. He does a lot of the Uwe Rosenberg games and one of the best artists out there. But this game is about running, the hotel you hope to evolve into the Grand Austria Hotel. So all players, when you're playing the game, are sort of competing with these smaller hotels that they're getting going. And the things that you're going to be doing in this game are just a variety of things you would be doing in a hotel, from managing your guests and kind of what rooms you put them in, along with the dining hall. There's maid service. There's a new Let's Waltz expansion, which allows you to add in ballrooms. So in the evenings, the hotel guests can go ballroom dancing. But it's a whole kind of grab bag of mechanics. And I like those games because they give you enough paths of actions you can take, of mechanics, that you can kind of choose what you want to do in the game as the game's evolving based on how you are doing, what you are getting, and what other players are doing. And I like games that have that kind of like point salad-y possibility. And then you're allowed to kind of do what you want within all that. And the other game that was pledged is Townsfolk Tussle, which is a very, very unique looking game. It's kind of mechanically like Kingdom Death Monster, in the sense that you're fighting boss fights. Really, the whole game is just about fighting boss fights. But the art style is very, very unique. It looks kind of like the Cuphead video game, if you're familiar with that. More importantly, it's that vintage kind of 1920s, 19-teens, sort of teens, 20s, 30s, that vintage cartoon art style. And there is a sort of sick sense of humor at work in Townsfolk Tussle, in sort of like the violence and the gore and on the cards. It's not always totally overt, but because it's combined with this weird art style, it's a little disturbing and even sick in a good way. And so I'm really excited for Townsfolk Tussle. It's also, although it is sort of a boss fighting game, if you compare it to something like Kingdom Death Monster, that game is designed to be a long campaign that you play for a while, probably with more serious gamers, or at least people who are ready and able to commit to this kind of like long ongoing experience. Townsfolk Tussle is designed more for one-offs. It's not a huge campaign. You're just sit down and you're playing a game and you're having this boss fight. So it's a better game to play with people who aren't going to commit to a long experience. And it also feels very much designed somewhat for non-gamers. So I think this will be a very, very good game for you to introduce to non-gaming friends, and just kind of sit down and have this be a one-time experience, for an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it takes to play it, and then you're done. And, it's more kind of digestible, it's more consumable, and I think the very kind of unique cartoon art and the design style is something that will appeal to everyone and draw people in. So it looks like a very, very unique game, and I was very, very excited to pledge it and be able to add it to my collection. Thank you for being here with me, and I will see you again with some Seventh Continent videos, and then we'll be back in 2 weeks for another slate of monthly roundup stuff, because the monthly roundup stuff is happening twice a month. And I will be back in late December with another update. And I will see you then.